Alrighty guys, so update time again. Just working on the door. I've got a few spots I got to weld because I didn't actually finish welding it, but I just wanted to clean up just to make sure there's any other spots that I needed to, like little spots in between where sometimes you'll miss when you've got a bunch of weld there. It's my welding's still improving, but I've just only got a few places to sort of go along and finish welding. But that door's looking good. I've got to straighten the bottom edge a little bit when I'm sort of finished. I'll go along and sort of straighten that out a bit better because it's got a wee bit of a wave in it. But I'll fix that. But I've got that rolled over pretty tight now. Where's my straight edge? And well, it's not perfect for straightness along there, but for doing that by hand, I don't think it's too bad. At the end of the day, I might be able to go along with the welder and just put a little bit of weld across the bottom edge, and I've got to do a little bit in here too. It's a little bit low, just it didn't roll over as nice as I'd like it to. But yeah, if I have to, that's what I'll do. I'll just come along with the welder and just spot a bit of, since that's nice and feels nice and thick now, a little bit of material in there, and then just see if I can grind it a bit flatter. So at least when I come along to finish, it doesn't look stupid. But I'll bolt it back on the car first and get it all lined up and make sure that it's lined up with everything else, just in case I have to do anything else to it. So I haven't test fitted it back on the car yet. But yeah, I thought I'd just sort of ground that off and cleaned it up. Mainly just to check where I need to check. Well, I knew these spots, but yeah, there was the odd little spot along here that I just wasn't 100% sure, and I thought I'd give it a clean up and just go back along and tidy it up. So I carry on. The other thing I did, I went and bought myself an extra couple of bloody lights for in here so I can do a wee bit of work later at night when I can do some quieter stuff, hopefully over the next couple of weeks. But so that's the progress on the door, and we'll catch you later on. Cheers. Righty, morning guys. So a bit of an update for you. So I've managed to managed to bash these bushes out. I just come out with a couple of decent whacks with a hammer, just sat that back on the vice open, and just gave them 3 or 4 decent wallops with a bloody hammer. They come out, fortunately. So I'm just in the midst of the cleaning up this top arm. Now this was what sort of happened to these since I had them in that when we did the electrolysis, and they're flash rusted again. So I'm just going around and scraping all the rest of any sort of thick chunky stuff off. I'm giving them a good go with the wire wheel, clean them all up. So I'm just in the midst of doing, this is the second top arm. So I'll clean them up, and I've got one hanging, I don't know if you can see out in the line behind that towel, getting sort of warming up in the sun, so I can start going through a coat of painting it and stuff. Got the door on. Now I've still got a few, with the last sort of few bits and pieces of weld where I went back along and just filled up any little bits and pieces on there, but I've bolted the door on just to see how it all fits. And I've got to do a little bit of final work along the bottom. I'm going to have to put a little bit of weld in a couple of spots just where it's a wee bit wavy. If I'm doing for my first time doing the door and not really having any major sort of gear here, it's probably pretty good for doing it by hand. So I'm pretty happy with it really. Like, it's not going to take a lot to straighten up that bottom edge. But my plan is today, if I can, I'm going to try and get a lot of the suspension stuff sort of cleaned up so I can get this front end back together. Well, probably over the next 2 or 3 days. I want to try and see if I can get all this front end back in. Suspension wise, steering, whatever. Mainly just temporarily bolted back in, because this will all come back out, but I want to get the top and bottom arms painted and sort of all the new bushes in. the best I can, so at least I don't have to take them back off the chassis or the subframe. So that's that sort of plan at the moment. So yeah, I'm just going through and cleaning them up. So at least I can get that far, and then I can actually get this bloody thing, and then I'll slip the diff along here, and I'll bolt the diff in as well, temporarily. So at least I can get it in and out a few times and make it a wee bit easier to work on while I've got some sun. You know, if it's raining, I'll work on it in here, and if it's do what I can, and if it's sunny, at least I can push it outside and work on it. So yeah, I'll carry on doing this, get these cleaned up, and go through my painting steps. My first coat will be, apart from clean up with wax and grease. Righty, so back to where I was. So the steps for painting this will be that rust converter. I'll do a light mist on that just to neutralise, and then I'll let that flash off for a while. I don't know, in a good hour, so I think you've got to leave it before I can. Then I'll do a couple of coats of primer, and then I'll do, I don't know, 2 or 3 coats of just a gloss black. I did think about putting the texture coat on it too, but I don't think I'll worry about it. I did texture coat on my VC Valiant, what I did over home, did all the bottom arms and top arms and all the suspension stuff with sort of like a anti-stone chip coating. I don't think I'll panic on this, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do anyway. So yeah, it'll be the rust preventer basically, and then primer, and then a top coat of 2 or 3 top coats of black. So that'll be what I'll do there. So I'll get these bottom arms done at least, and I just don't know how well I'm going to get these bottom arms apart. I think I'm going to have to need a press, but we'll see. I'll work on that. But at least I can get these top arms painted and possibly reassembled. We'll see how we go. Alrighty, cheers. Righty guys, so that there has just had a sort of a reasonable sort of 1 coat of this, just to neutralise aerosol rust converter. So that's what I'm using on inside all the door panels and all that sort of stuff too. So at least that now will stop that from flash rusting and rusting underneath. That'll cure it all. I read the can, I've got to leave it 3 hours now before I put primer or anything else on it. I might just give it another wee quick spray just in a couple of spots where I can see where I haven't quite got enough in some of these shitty places to get into. But that's basically all you need on there, just to stop it from flash rusting or rusting from underneath the paint. You know, I probably could have sandblasted it, but like if I ended up building if I was going to go to the extent I probably was going to go to, if I didn't get this job off in America, you know, I probably would have really got into it, but this will stop any rust and shit coming back anyway for a long time, so especially once it's top coated and all sealed up, so it's not really going to matter much, and it's going to be better protected than it ever was with all the other shit on it. Righty, we'll get back to you later on. Oh, this is the one I haven't done yet, so you can see the difference. Alrighty, we'll get back to you later on. Cheers. Alrighty, update again guys. So I've got the driver's door off, or if you're in America, the passenger's door, or anywhere the driver's on the left. The driver sits on the left hand driver's side of the car. So I got the driver's door off anyway, right hand side. So I'm just picking this corner out. As far as I can see, with the looking inside, I don't think I need to pull the bottom off this door. I think I can get away with just this small repair in the corner. So I'm just trying to get that off. So what I need to do is I'll just grind this corner a bit more and see if I can get this bit of skin off, and then we'll have a bit more of a look. I'll flip it over and we'll have a bit more of a look. So I'll come back to you in I don't know, a couple of seconds. Righty guys, so I've just got this door standing up here. So I'll show you inside. As you can see, like it's pretty bloody clean in here. It's not that bad at all. So I'm going to show you down in here best I can. Alright, really it's pretty bloody clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my I'll get my media blaster in there and I'll blow in all those sort of in around the seams and anything else that I can sort of physically see that's rusty or got starting to get scaly, and then we'll blow that out and I'll get that rust converter and I'll give it a fairly good soaking around those seams. Basically to slow that down. You know, like at the end of the day, if you're building a show car or something like that, you may take, you know, the skin off the door and really get into it. But for the average man that's having a bloody good cleaner and doing that and treating that, like how old is it? Like 66 was made, so you know, 2019, even for 2020 now, you know, we're almost, well, we're over halfway through the year, like it's almost the end of the 7th month, start of the 8th month, so you know, like shit, it's been around a long time now, and if it's, you know, garaged, all those sorts of things, like it's, and you treat that properly, you know, by the time that rots out, if you had it, you know, like inside, out of the weather, you know, 99% of the time, and you get it out and drive it, you know, when the weather's decent, you know, like if it rains, it rains, but, you know, you don't get out there and rain, you know, drive it around and obviously freaking all the shit, but, you know, drive it out, take it out, drive it, use it, you know, and keep it out of the worst, the shit and the weather. For, you know, it's going to be 30, 40 years if it's looked after before it breaks anywhere else. You know, if it's got that long, and really, like here look at this hinges, like, I'm guessing, I don't know whether these hinges have been rebuilt, but like there's a little bit of movement in that. There's hardly anything in that, and that's the driver's door. Like it's not so easy to move that bottom one because it's got the tension and the spring and everything on it, so it's holding pressure. But you know, like this thing hasn't done a lot of miles. I think it's had a fair bit of abuse, body wise, and you know, it's been off through the old accident, but really, like apart from the bottoms of the quarters and a bit of rust and, you know, and the rust in the front door, a bit of rust in here, you know, in the boot floor because it's been sat in the weather, and all that back piece behind the window because of, you know, some goons painted all the weather, all the chrome and all the water's sat in there, and then it's rotted out. You know, if it had been left way back properly, you know, done properly way back, you know, it probably would have never rusted out there and then never had water sitting in the boot floor or the trunk floor, you know, and it probably would have never rotted in there. You know, you're always going to get a bit of cancer in the bottoms of the guards and bottoms of the doors and you know, your real sills or your rockers or whatever you want to call them. You know, and you're always going to get your bottoms of your guards and all that sort of stuff, but, you know, your front guards, fenders, whatever you want to call them. But shit, this is a bloody clean car. You know, like some of the stuff that you see and you see people fix, you know, and the whole rear ends and doing the boots and the full rear guards and, you know, like, you know, some of that stuff that I've seen Rick do from Old Time Garage, man, jeez. You know, they are massive restoration jobs compared with this. This is fairly simple, like, you know, I'll just got the steel buggered. I think Wednesday this week coming. I did think about going Monday, but the guy's not going to be home, and I need to be here Tuesday for some other bits and pieces that are going on. But Wednesday we're going to go up and grab that boot floor. I don't know whether I'm going to get the whole thing or not. I have no idea. But I want the passenger side anyway, and see if we can get the bulk of the boot floor. And then I'll have a go at putting that in. Get rid of some of those repair panels that I've put in, and see if I can get a whole boot floor in it, and clean that other one up before I put it in. And that will make the car really friggin' sound then. Like everything else is pretty good. It's not a matter of knocking some dents out. I've still got a few repairs. I've got to do some repairs on the boot lid or trunk lid, and around the hinges and stuff. It's starting to split, like where the bolts go in, like actually in the frame. And up here, I don't know if you can see, like I'm going to have to repair this door. But I'm going to wait to do that. I'm going to bolt it back in the car, and then I'm going to have a look, because I didn't realise it was cracked up in here. But I'll clean that up and work out a decent way to fix that. Focus. Yeah, so it's all cracked in here. So I'll do some repair in here. Same with the boot lid and around these hinges and stuff. That's actually something I really need to do. I need to go buy a decent bloody panel stand so I can sit the bonnet and the boot lid upside down and get in and clean them up underneath. And the same, then I can also sit these doors on and figure out what I'm going to do with the insides of these, how much I'm actually going to paint. Like, I'm going to paint the insides of them, but how far I take it back and how far I clean it up. I'm probably best to I'll probably what I'll do, I don't know, I'll probably get some paint stripper in here and paint the insides of the doors probably up to here. I don't think I'll stress too much about this. I'll just scuff it and clean it up, and I'll probably just paint the inside of this black. This piece, I'll just blow some black on there. But whether I paint, I'm just trying to also decide what I'm going to do with the tops of the doors. I don't think I'm going to paint them the green body colour. I'm tossing up between, so I'm still going through my head what I'm going to do. Like, I want to paint the body that Poison Ivy or the Toyota colour green. That's very, very, very similar, but that's mainly metallic, not pearl and metallic. So I want to paint the body that colour. I want to do because I'm going to put the hood scoop on the bonnet, I'm going to give it that sort of, like the Mopar sort of blacked out sort of bonnet, maybe stripes in it or something like that, or something to break that bonnet up and sort of toughen it up a bit at the front. Like I could paint, like the old Bumblebee stripe over the boot lid, but I don't think I'm gonna. I'll decide that after I've painted it, or before, not long before I paint it. But I'm tossing up because the chrome's so bad in this thing. I'm going to paint the chrome, but just because that's how bad it is. So there's chrome trim to go around the back window. I'm going to clean that all up, scuff it because it's already been painted. So I'm going to strip it back the best I can, do what I can with it, and I'm going to paint that. I don't know, like a reasonably good silvery colour, sort of, not so much to mimic chrome, but to give that appearance. And I was tossing up whether to do that with the tops of the doors, because a lot of these cars had the chrome around the doors, around the door frame, apart from the stripe, the moulding. But I was tossing up to whether to paint the tops of these silver, or whether to paint them, to black them out, like in whatever I paint the bonnet with, with the green, like, whether I do a dark charcoal or a black, or or a satin black or whatever I do. That was my other thought, to do the tops of the doors like that. You know, in the middle of the door, in the middle of the post, you know, in between the doors, you know, sort of black that out too, or whatever, or paint it silver, or leave it body colour and just do those edges around the door. And the other thing I want to do, because I haven't got these chrome strips, I'm tossing up whether to, because I've been watching that, you know, Bad Chad, and he uses that freaking stick-on chrome moulding. I don't know whether I can get it to, because the tail light has got the piece that comes out here, but the light that goes in the boot lid doesn't have the moulding attached to it. That's a separate piece, and it comes along here and twists around and goes back. But I wonder if I can get some of that chrome stripping, that rubberized chrome stripping, and bring it up to here, and then bend it back around here and put it on there to make it look like I've got that moulding. Until I can maybe find it one day, if hang on to the car type thing. You know, as I say, like if whether I keep it after we've gone to the States, if that all works out with the embassy and all that garbage. So yeah, like if we keep it, leave it in storage here, registered, and then send it back to New Zealand, which is my plan, or whether I sell it before I leave. Well, we haven't crossed that bridge yet, but that's a possibility too. But I'd like to keep it and send it back to New Zealand, so at least then, if we do a trip back to New Zealand, I don't care if I cruise around this for 3 or 4 weeks. You know, seeing people, it'd be quite cool to do that, instead of driving something modern. So yeah, it's whether I toss up and put that chrome moulding on here. So anyway, I'll flick this door out and quickly show that in a minute. So I'll stop the camera here, stop waffling, now that I've said what I'm going to say, and we'll show you the inside of that door. Right, so back again. So now you can see how bad this piece is. It's pretty good, really. You know, like in there with a sandblast or even the wire wheel, and clean that up, and put that rust converter in there, and that'll be fine. And and remake this bit, and glue it on the corner with the welder. Yeah, and then bolt this door back on, and I'll line this frame up, see where it needs to sit, and put some tacks in it and fix that, because it's no bloody good like that. Anyway, so we'll get at it, and I'll clean this up, get my little media plaster out again, and see if I can sieve some grit for it, and we'll give this a decent blow around and clean up. So as you can see, like from that other door when I made this piece, you know, I've got to had it pretty close. As you probably would have seen before when I had it the other way, like if you shoot back a couple of minutes and have a look. That worked out pretty close, you know, and that was the little piece that I cut in the corner for that bump stop. So I'm still actually got to file that up, but I actually need to I might see if I can get this broken one out and just see whether I can get that to fit in that other hole before I do go much further. At least then I don't have to order one until later on. Anyway, alright, we'll catch you later on. Cheers. Alright, just another little final update for the weekend, I guess. So I blew all this out with the media blast. I did a wall around in here. Spent a good few minutes on it, and then spent a few minutes blowing all the shit out of it. And I've just done the hole inside of the door, especially in those bad bits, and let it running down here. And then I just flipped it over and I blew this piece in here. So that should be nice and sealed up now. And before I weld this corner on, I'll blow some primer in here just to give it a bit of extra protection. But that door should be good now. Like once we get that corner made and weld that back on there, that should help a whole lot. Yeah, just nothing else I need to tell you at the moment, I don't think. No, we're pretty good. So yeah, I'll start making a piece of this corner, I suppose. I'm not sure whether I'll make it tonight or not. But anyway, we'll carry on and we'll get some more done. I may edit all these bits and pieces that I've done over the weekend together. Oh, that's the other thing. I was going to bloody prime those other front suspension parts after I put the converter on them too. But the weather's freaking turned to shit, and I didn't get a chance to paint it when it was a bit warmer. Put 2 or 3 coats of prime on there, but that's what the rust converter looks like after it's been sitting for a couple of 3 hours. So yeah, at least they look lots better now, and I'll get a good coat of, might have to just give them a light scuff in the morning or tomorrow sometime, as long as the weather's good, and I'll prime them up and then hopefully get some black on them, and then see if I can get these bushes pushed back on them and less them, I can put the top arms back on and put the new boots for the ball joints on them. So yeah, so they look alright. So I just set them down there in the meantime. Unfortunately that weather turned shit earlier on, and it rained and wouldn't really let me get in there to do that. But anyway, we'll carry on. Cheers.